What is up, my little Deinos? Vepsis here, your coach of the GoldoaDragon, and we are here for the UBL Season 3 Week 1 Team Builder versus Frosted and her team beat the Copenhagen Sawsbucks, which I'm sure I butchered it completely wrong, but that's how I know how to pronounce it at my best. But we're going up against someone who I know really well, or got to know her really well recently. Well, I guess not recently anymore. It's been quite a bit of time that we have known each other. Mainly because I started to help her out throughout last season of UBL from week 3 onwards. And we have been talking daily basis since then regards to DrSlaking, regards to Pokemon, regards to our own lives. We have pretty much become a close people, and she is one of the favorite people that I have got to meet in DrSlaking format thus far. So really looking forward to this battle in that sense, but also not really looking forward to considering that it's week 1 and both of us did not want this to happen, but it's just what it ended up happening with the schedule being randomized. So we are going up against someone who I know well, and I have a good idea how good of a player she can be. She's consistently improving as a DrSlaking player. I can tell from first glance myself. Better than anyone else, better than herself, honestly. I don't think she even thinks about it too much. But I've been able to tell a lot that she has been able to improve consistent basis. And honestly, becoming a really good DrSlaking player, considering the amount of time that she has been playing. She has only played like 2 full seasons so far. This might be like her fourth season or third season so far to be exact, but she is really new to DrSlaking format comparing to us others. So considering that she is always a playoff contender, she put A-Tribe to the limits last season of playoffs in round 1, and we know how good of a player A-Tribe is. She is a threat to be reckoned with. She can beat anyone on her better days for sure, and I have to watch out for that. And she is gonna be having like some 6-foot hacks and Uzi Gunner at least, helping her out on team building, so she doesn't have any worse coaches to help her out when I'm not able to help her out at this point. Like, people would consider them better players as I do. I don't really think about it too much, but I know the fact that they know what they are doing, obviously, knowing the players and what kind of capabilities they have as a DrSlaking player. So I have work cut out for myself if I try to win, but this is gonna be the team that I'm gonna be going onwards. Her C captains were Incineroar and Rotom 10%. My C captains were Moltres and Greninja throughout the season, just as a watch out if you haven't seen my or her draft analysis. My draft analysis should be down below in the description, so make sure if you haven't checked it out yet. Of course, that's always highly recommended from my perspective. But in regards to the team itself, we are gonna be starting with Alomomola, Assault Vest Alomomola. Kanye West is coming here with Liquidation, Ice Beam, Knockoff, and Miracle. Why we are running this kind of Alomomola compared to like a physical defensive set, which would make a lot of sense versus her team? Well, this is my best answer that I found on paper from my roster, dealing with Mega Diancie with consistent bases and be able to actually gain health back one way or another. And with this bulk that we are having with the Sassy Nature 252 on SpDef and with the HP number that we hit, this enables us to take less than 33% at max from a Moonblast from Mega Diancie, meaning that we are gaining all that health back at best always without regenerating, meaning that this can be a consistent switching to that thing, which otherwise I did not really have. This was a little bit of a headache to try to come up with this spread, because I have to consider the fact that it can be a mixed attacker, and it is a mixed attacker, potentially with Diamond Storm as well. So I had to try to figure out that is it going to be more specially orientated or physically orientated versus me. And at this point I went with the idea that it's gonna be more specially orientated, because I thought it would like to run things like Psychic versus me, Earth Power can be nice, Moonblast is obviously gonna be there, and then the Diamond Storm. So I thought on paper that it makes more sense for her to be special attacking orientated. So that's kind of the idea why Alomomola has this spread. The physical defense is just left over there, what I had to invest on after I did the calcs with the special bulk that I wanted to have. Then the next member of the team is gonna be Scissor, our blade, running protected paths, which I'm gonna be touching on. What the heck is that item? Most of you probably don't know what the hell is that item, but it's a pretty cool item, I can assure you that, what it's there for. Then we have having U-turn, bullet punch, defog, and roost. With Jolly Nature, enough attack to 2-shot a Psycho 10%, which is speed creep in Mega Galade and has a little bit of leftover to add on its bulk. We are doing 50% minimum to it with our bullet punch, which I thought would be pretty good benchmark to hit on paper wise, because I didn't really have better target to hit on Scissor, to be perfectly honest, what I needed for. Then we have speed investment quite heavily to outspeed Yuxi, speed creeping me. Potentially, in a sense that I would try to speed creep it minimally when it would not have much speed investment. So I went pretty far with that, just in case if she tries to be sneaky with it. I do outspeed non-investment Zapdos, but I'm never gonna be staying with it, knowing the fact that it could always have a little bit more speed investment than I do, and I get blown back by a heat wave and I cannot do anything back to it. So there's no point of even trying to risk that. It's mainly just for the Yuxi. The idea with this set is that this forms as a offensive check to that Mega Diancie, which is the biggest threat versus me on paper, besides Alomomola being the defensive answer to that thing. So that is the idea there. The protected paths is actually a item that prevents the static to come in play, or potentially even Rocky Helmet from the Zapdos. Considering that it's a pretty much a hard check to any variant of Scissor, I 100% expect Mega Diancie and Zapdos coming versus me, and Zapdos 100% is gonna be always switching into this thing. There's no reason for it not to do. Everyone will be doing that, including myself. So I wanted to have an item that doesn't punish me going for U-turn and gaining initiative, and knowing especially versus Mega Diancie, she has to respect my priority bullet punch, which is gonna be always killing her unless she is like +4 or +2 defense or whatever from a Diamond Storm. So whenever she doesn't have that going for herself, she should be forced to swap out into Zapdos, and there's no reason for her to not to do that. So I want to be able to gain the initiative from that, while at the same time not risking a static Hera or whatever, or taking unnecessary damage with Rocky Helmet, not getting anything too much out of it. So that is going to be the Scissor. Next up, we are going to be having Greninja. Scarf Tongue is coming here with a ICMC, Dual Stab with Surf, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, and Protect, and ICMC as its item. And Dual Stab honestly does great versus her. I could have gone with Hydro Pump, guarantee killing the Diancie. This one is like 80% chance killing it from full, but I would like to have a move that hits it 100% of time, and I feel like I can wear down the Diancie just even that much, just to make sure Surf always kills it. Then we have Dark Pulse just for stab. Dual Stab, like I said, does a really good work versus her. Then we have the Ice Beam with the ICMC, which enables me to potentially OHKO a max HP Zapdos, like, what is it, 80% of time. It does like 94% of minimum to a Zapdos that is max HP and maybe like 4 on speed F. So it's doing a lot to that thing, and it's able to potentially kill it from full, which was something that was too much for me to really pass out on, and I didn't really want to put any other item in it instead. Then we have Protect in there, which might seem weird, but I did not want to go with U-turn, considering the Zapdos has static. I don't ever feel comfortable clicking U-turn versus her team. Off the chance she would be sneaky and try to do something like that, or try to switching on it because it's the best thing left to take hit from me. And I want to put the Protect there because that enables me to scout Kartana if it's gonna be Choice Scarf, because I feel like it's gonna be either Choice Scarf or a Assault Vest, I guess. Primarily I would think it's gonna be Choice Scarf versus me, and I want to see what move it locks itself into, because that enables me to play around it properly, or potentially catch it with going for something like Psycho Cut versus my Greninja, expecting my Amoonguss to come in, which you're gonna be seeing that I'm bringing already. So that enables me to gain a momentum back from it when she tries to check me with the Kartana potentially. So that is the idea there with the Greninja. Just outspeeding max speed, so I got 10% because I didn't want to risk her being just going 252 and not think that the bulk that she could be adding to that thing would be really making any difference, and maybe she could catch me off guard doing that. So I went with that spread with that. And then we are gonna be having my Diancie, Tiffany Chase, which is gonna be running Modest Nature, 108 on special attack, 108 on speed, 252 on the HP, making it max HP, and then on special defense investment with 32 IVs. The idea with the bulk in itself is primarily just to be able to take Zapdos' Thunderbolt as best as possible. I believe this is enable to make it a 3-8 KO even from a modest Zapdos. Off the chance she would go like max HP, max special attack versus me, which could be deadly possibility if I'm not prepared properly for it. So that enables me to have a check to that thing, and also having a rest talk as 2 of its moves enables me to have a form of recovery through that. And then we are running Moonblast as only attacking move and as a stab, and then we have Calm Mind to also set up, which means that this can also function as a wall breaker versus her, cause she doesn't have the greatest fairy resist on her team as of right now, and consider the best fairy resist that she has is the Vileplume. Does not have a great matchup versus me, in case you weren't able to tell, so that would be the one mon I would be including out that would be coming versus me. I can see maybe everything else to come one way or another, but Vileplume is not coming versus me, so I didn't feel like I needed more than my Fairy Stab, which makes this set pretty deadly if I get it going on a proper moment, and this enables me not only check Zapdos, but take also advantage of it in that sense. And then we have the Sugar Berry in there, just to make sure that if I need to take a ground move from her ground types, I said his, but obviously Frosted, she is a girl, so I should be saying her more often, which I'm not used to regards to Draftly content, but versus her Zygarde 10% and Donphan, I will be able to take one Earthquake if Donphan has more speed investment than I do, because we both have base 50 as our base speed. So if she puts more IVs than I did, then she can potentially then basically outspeed me. So I want to make sure that if that's the case, I can take that Earthquake and potentially take it out if it's weakened at that point. And the same thing goes for like Zygarde, in a sense that I'm not now forced out if I'm setting up, and I can actually blow that thing back instead of being forced out and being in a awkward position versus potential Choice Bandit Zygarde 10%. So that is going to be the set. The special attack investment and modest nature is actually not there for anything. It's just there to specifically giving me a little bit more damage output that I would be having without it. The primary goal is to have good amount of speed investment and the bulk for the Zapdos in itself, and function in that ways for its role. Then the second last member of the team is gonna be Amoonguss, a female shiny Amoonguss called Kim after Kim Kardashian, because Alomomola is Kanye West. I need to have Amoonguss kinda as the celebrity couple that they are supposed to be. So Amoonguss is there to be functioning as a pretty standard Amoonguss that I don't think I need to go through too much about this. The only big thing that this set that I want to talk about is the fact that it's running Toxic over Spore, for example. I want to have the Toxic because this enables me to beat down her walls a lot easier, including Jellicent. Even though I'm a grass type, I still don't do too much because I'm Amoonguss and I'm Bold Nature. And I also have a way to punish the Zapdos coming in and able to keep a consistent damage on it, which means that Greninja's ICMC is now most likely always guaranteed to kill if I only get the one turn of Toxic damage on it. So Toxic felt like the best status move that I can go for, and there should not be any drawback for me to clicking it, because I can put everything on the timer. The worst thing that could happen is that I give guts to Hariyama, and I'm aware of that, but I will be having check to that, which you're gonna be seeing next, which you don't think it would be a check to Hariyama, but it is, as a defensively. But yeah, this thing is there to function as a physical wall for her physical offensive threats, which I lacked with Alomomola being Assault Vest, and with the Rocky Helmet I can punish at least the Kartana going for any move, especially if it's not knockoff in consistent basis, and same goes for something like Hariyama, for example. So very standard Amoonguss. And then the final member of the team is gonna be the Mega Evolution that I drafted this season, but it's a set that I don't feel like anyone has used before, or you have seen them used like this before. But it's pretty typical of me doing something like this. So we are running, well, not on a Mega Galate, this is first ever I have done it myself, but it's a weird thing. I end up running Restock at times, probably too often that I should be doing, but sometimes I do it because it just works. And on this case it really works well, because this thing, Mega Galate with Train Punch, Konoko, Sleep Talk and Rest, this thing was huge on my team building aspect, because I'm gonna be saying right now, throughout this team building prospect, until I put this thing in, I could have not been able to get rid of the consistent fear back of my mind that she is gonna be bringing a Guts Flame of Ariyama versus me. I went through all the phases throughout my team building aspect that first I was being denial about it, like, she's not gonna bring a Guts Flame of Hariyama, she's gonna bring it Assault Vest, cause that makes a lot of sense versus Greninja and Dragalsi and everything like that. It makes a lot of sense, why not she would not be doing it. She's not gonna bring the Guts Flame up set there. Then I went to the phase of fear, and I was like, oh shit, if she's actually doing that, I'm getting popped by that thing if I don't bring something to deal with that, because Amoonguss doesn't deal with it. Alomomola can deal with it, but I cannot really change the set because it has a bigger purpose than I cannot really replace. So I was like, kind of like, what the heck do I do to that thing if it shows up? So, because I didn't feel like at first glance Mega Galate had really enough going for it to be a setup threat on this game, it could have functioned as a wall breaker quite well, but it still would have needed this setup to break through a physical defensive Zapdos, and Yuxi probably is gonna be hard to break down. Risking a Mega Diancie with speed high, like so offensive Mega Galate, yeah, it's something that can do always work. It like always can have some sort of role for any matchup. I figure that this one makes so much easier for me to have this kind of set, cause this thing can 1v1 so many things, especially if they are on a timer with Toxic from Amoonguss. Like, the only thing that can really beat me is that Diancie, which will always outspeed me, but as long as I have checks to that, which I am going to have, basically this thing can 1v1 a lot of things, but especially just having that hard check to that Hariyama if it's Guts Flame or is huge. I could have run also Psychic Stab to kill it, but I figured that Train Punch should be enough for me to 1v1 it. Like, you look at the Mega Galate's attack stat, you don't think it's too much when I'm not investing more than 20. But just look at that number. Look at that number right now. Let's go look at my Scissor, which has 220 investment on it. It's still, like, there's a 10 base difference on there when you look at it in that way. So even though it looks that I'm investing very little on Mega Galate's attack stat, it's still hitting hard. It's still the hardest hitting physical attacker that I'm bringing. So it's gonna be doing work, and I feel like Knockoff is too valuable between Alomomola and Mega Galate to make sure that the Katana's potential choice scarf is gonna be knocked off, which means that Greninja can outspeed it, and then it's a lot easier for me to deal with that thing. So that is gonna be the team that I'm gonna be bringing for week 1. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know by leaving a like, subscribe if you are new, so you won't be missing out on tomorrow's battle and the upcoming content that I have providing for you guys from this UBL Season 3 season. Thank you again for watching. Go and check out my opponent Frosted. She is a phenomenal person. I can show you that by getting to know her. She has a lot bigger channel than I do. She's more consistent on uploads than I do. She does VCC and all the reasons to go check her out. At least give it a try. I'm sure you will be sticking out and watch her and help her out to get into that 1000 subscribe number, as I'm now not able to speak anymore. So that is the sign for me to end out this video. Thank you again for watching. Stay tuned for tomorrow for the battle. It's gonna be something that definitely epic, going up against her versus her for sure. But until then, I'm gonna be seeing you guys later.